Good afternoon and welcome to the program Beyond the News here on The Nation Online TV. My name is Yewande Fasan, and with me is my guest and analyst, Mr. Adeyinka Aderibigbe. How are you, sir? Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you, Yewande. Good afternoon today. Hope you had a very wonderful Easter celebration.
I guess I did, and I want to believe you did too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
I believe all our viewers also had a very swell time as well.
Well, hopefully, and I mean, today is the 22nd day in April, and in no time we are out of April, and the first month in the second quarter of 2025 is rounding up. So we just need to how do I put it? Because there's something I wanted to say, how that in as much as many people are trying to stop going for themselves, trying to do a lot of things to ensure that they are not left behind, we should also try as much as possible to be civil and responsible while at it. I mean, Easter just went by and many people were posting is risen, and if you ask anybody, have you truly risen with Jesus? And we just need to replicate what everything that we preach out there and we put on social media. So let's just get straight into what we have today. I'll be taking the headlines first as usual, and I'll be starting with the Nation newspaper. And I put the nameplate here. I have IMF urges nations with huge debt to seek restructuring. NNPCL slashes petrol pump price to 880 naira per litre. US adjusts visa request procedure for applicants. AFCC arrests 2 suspects over 1.3 trillion naira cyber scam. The major headline reads, bye-bye Pope Francis. Over to New Telegraph. China floods Nigeria with 4.7 trillion naira worth of goods in 2 months. Why I was reluctant to become Yar'Adua's running mate. This is coming from Goodluck Jonathan. Over to the Punch newspaper. Electricity failures inflate manufacturers' generator bill to 1 trillion naira. FG targets ghost workers in fresh payroll audits. UK records 22,000 Nigerian asylum seekers. The major headline reads, Tinubu to meet service chiefs over rising killings. And let me just take one more that says, Tinubu, world leaders mourn as Pope Francis dies at 88. I'd like us to start on a sad note, Mr. Adeyinka. I mean, this is something really germane, and right now is on the lips of everybody. The death of Pope Francis. How did this how did this news come to you? Were you shocked? Were you I mean, it still spoke on Easter Monday, and only for us to hear that he's gone. How did this make you feel?
First, from this table,
yeah,
we are commiserating with all Catholics all over the world. Close to 3 billion of them on the passage of Pope Francis. That indeed is the end of an era. The first Latin American Pope, and a very humble man who carried the burden of being the first vicar of Catholicism or Christian dogma with full responsibility. He did not drop the ball, even up to the last breath. I could still picture him at the balcony of the Basilica trying to bless the people. I mean, that is how world leaders do, especially religious leaders. He was preaching peace, he was preaching unity, he was preaching oneness. He wanted a world that could really manifest the risen Christ and all that went into that passion and the desire to lay down his life for others. That was Jesus. That was the message that Pope Francis preached all his life. The need for Christians, and indeed all humanity, who now recognizes the divinity of God, who recognizes that God is not that too distant deity, but that he is too close, that he is interested in the affairs of man, and wanted to give man his innermost desires, to come back to him, irrespective of color, irrespective of race, irrespective of tongue, irrespective of the language, irrespective of where you come from, whether at the center or the periphery of the center, or wherever you are flung, as long as you are a human being. That was the message that Pope Francis preached all his life. He did Catholicism a word of pride throughout, and he died a man of faith. Those kind of people don't die. Heaven just gained another worthy ambassador from the earthly space. So we are happy that he has gone. All the weight of the assignment, all the burden of ill health are now laid down here as his soul has gone back to his maker. So I join the Catholics to say that may the soul of all faithful departed in Christ Jesus, especially that of Pope Francis, rest in perfect peace.
Amen. Thank you so much, Mr. Adeyinka. While we divert now, I'd like us to talk about the recent scam, in speaking of CBES. Right, on the front page of The Nation here, we have EFCC arrests 2 suspects over 1.3 trillion naira CBES scam. And from the lead here says, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has arrested 2 suspects over the alleged loss of approximately 1.3 trillion naira to crypto bridge exchange. Although 4 Nigerians have been identified with the company, including 2 siblings, none of the names has been unveiled by the anti-graft agency. I mean, as of last week, CBES was everywhere, all over social media, and on the lips of everybody. And I still find it worrisome how Nigerians still fall prey to this, scams out there, Ponzi schemes, so to say. And now many people, lost money, financial, like their capitals. Many people were, had, plunged money into this, and not just, for it to be a scam. And I don't know. I would like to ask you: are you shocked that this is happening? And when I mean shock, this CBES scam, was it expected? Because they have offices, right? They have physical offices, so that could give people that, okay, this is not a scam. But at the end of the day, it turns out that this is a scam, and many people have lost their finances into this.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why many were caught napping, CBES didn't appear to anybody like a scam. Like you said, they had physical offices in Nigeria.
Yes.
People could relate to them because they were dealing in crypto. Crypto is a 3rd-gen IT real development. I mean, you can, a lot of people globally today deals more in crypto. Bitcoins and all, they are all part of the crypto ecosystem. So, and to the point that they merely deals in that global market twice a day, afternoon and evening, and then they get their trading profits every day, it does not appear to them as a scam. Because you are not being pledged to gain anything for nothing. You are seeing that you are trading in virtual money called crypto. And then all of this happened. You see, human being will always continue to perfect and perfect and perfect all the things that could seem like loopholes. As you seem to get a hang on what looks like a scam, others will keep coming that are perfected versions of what you know.
An upgraded version.
An upgraded version of what you know. And that is what you find in this milieu. There was a time we had MMM.
Of course.
There were others after MMM.
Many like that.
You understand? And then this happened. I'm sure that this world will catch a lot of people wrong-footed, including including artists, including celebrities.
I mean, Thai Currency came out to say that he invested 10 million.
Somebody was even saying that another musician lost about 300 million.
Imagine.
So you can see that people are, not that they did not, they had their antennas on to detect scams, but this was just too good
for it not
to be true, because it is real, then all of a sudden, all of that dream. Do you know that as we speak, it has come up in another form? And that is why you find that the noise was only for 3 days last week.
Yes, I mean, it has declined already.
It has declined.
Already.
Because they promised their people that if you key in by Friday, the thing will take off again. Indeed, it has taken off in another dimension. They shut down the last link that they were using and opened another link. It's still on, virtual, giving the impression and assuring the people, their patrons, that they did not die, that it was just a hack, and there was nothing in their system that they should be afraid of. So these are the kind of, people are still, what you are sitting here saying is a scam, and they are back into it, and it is thriving. They are already making some new money.
Are we to liken it to being gullible or being greedy now?
It is, I don't think, maybe it is when you have that you can say you are gullible, or you can say you are greedy. But these are things you don't even, for about 50-60% of the population in it, they do not even have. For other cadre of that percentage, yes, you can say, okay, maybe some element of, somebody that put a 300 million, somebody that put 10 million, you can say, what exactly could these people be looking for? But a larger percentage are young people like you and I, young people out there who are looking for a smarter way to live, a better way to live, and they realize that they could send their money on errands. That is not great. No, because technology is making things better for people. But you see, when you see people exploiting that vulnerability, that's another matter. And that is why I'm happy that EFCC is after them. Because they indeed convince people that they are working with EFCC, they are working with CSC, they are working even with CBN. And that is why they are opening physical offices in Nigeria, that they are not scam, they are not this, they are not that. So, if you are exploiting the vulnerability of people, then you are a criminal. There's nothing absolutely wrong in in getting involved in third generation ecosystem, because this is the second generation that we are in already. Mm-hmm. The third generation is a 30 trillion naira economy. It's a global thing. Mm. So Nigeria cannot afford to sit back. No. A lot of big people in this society are already in it. They are doing it. Mm. We cannot be talking of institutions and all of that, but we know that a lot of people are getting leeway by involving in crypto economy. So if the average Nigeria also have an opportunity to make his money work, the little he has, I don't think anything is wrong with it. Where I find a problem is where you are exploiting their vulnerability. That is why you are a criminal. And that is why I don't have any grounds to anybody being prosecuted. In fact, they should be fully prosecuted, and the strong arm of the law should be on them. Because, yes, you have a right to your business. You have a right to do it the way you want. But you don't need to harm any other person while doing so. Exactly. That is where I have a grounds. That is why I think that the Nigerian government and institutions must go all out to let the world know. Whether you are coming here or you have local collaborators here or you are even an indigenous person, you are trying to play smart on people, this is not the best climate to do it. We need to begin to make people a scapegoat. We need to establish that, yes, this is a system, a society ruled by law. When we do that, my brother and my sister, the fact is that within the short time that thing was available, a lot of Nigerians, the pressure was far removed. That's the truth. A lot of young people, imagine going to rent. I know of a friend who was telling me that in the last 2 months, in fact, they have spent about 200,000 looking for accommodation. Everywhere he goes, just to get a two bedroom, everywhere he goes, the least he gets is 2 million. The last 2 months, he has been shopping. Nothing. An average worker, where will he get 2 million? That is the pressure that we are all in. And that is the reality that Nigerians are being pushed to. So when you have opportunities of things like this that could give you a leeway, you want to try it out, not because you are greedy, but because there's money to be made. And indeed, globally, there's money to be made. Nobody is sitting on his local area and taxing or tapping that. You can be here and be a global worker. You can be a virtual worker anywhere. You can work for Google, even while you are in your corner room, in your house. And they will be paying you your hard currency. And those are the kind of opportunities that technology is opening today. So it is not in all cases that these things are bad in itself. We just need to identify which of them is criminalized and then go after those who are making, who are soiling the name in the name of making a business and a kill out of people's vulnerabilities. So
basically, I think why many people are, pushing forward or like investing in such, schemes, like rightly said, people are already at their vulnerable moment.
Exactly.
People are vulnerable. Anything you bring to them, they just want to jump into it.
Yeah, anything that offers a new hope.
Yes.
They want
a
to
glimpse of hope. They just want to. And this is not, this boils down to our government. If things are way better, if the economy is really stable, many people would, but it might not be as, like the percentage might not be as, heavy as it goes. So the way I was seeing it was as though every single person in Nigeria invested in that scheme because people were agitated, people were upset. And I was wondering, like, how did this get so much credibility for so many people to want to invest their money without the fear of, oh, MMM did this to us the other year, this did this to us in this year, and people still, had hope in this. It's just so sad that, the whole thing did not go as planned. And I like to just say sorry to those who invested and, you know, their money, you know, is all gone. But again, let's just try as much as possible to be smart and also to ensure that we do not put out, I mean, out of the little we have, we should not be wasting it into unnecessary investments.
Exactly.
It's not easy, but, you know, we can just, you know, try to be cautious as individuals. While we go, I'd just love us to take this final story. Speaking of, you know, our president, you know, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The story is on the Punch here that says, Tinubu to meet service chiefs over rising killings. And from the lead here, it says President Bola Tinubu is planning to meet the service chiefs to discuss the rising killings in Plateau, Benue, and other parts of the country on his return to Abuja from his 2-week walking visit to Paris, the French capital. I mean, there's been a lot of, you know, clashes here and there, killings, you know, Plateau, Benue, and the likes. And I don't know if the security level is not heightened enough, or is just beyond our control. Like the situation, you know, evolving, the whole thing is just beyond our control. And now the president is set to meet with the service chiefs, and I believe that this is not the first time the president is meeting with them, and, you know, we still have these issues, you know, going on. Your thought on this, sir?
Let me first and foremost express our deep regards to Mr. President, who is now back with us.
Yes.
Like people will say, thank God Baba is back. You know? Yes. I think now that he's back, a lot of things will begin to take shape.
Hopefully.
Especially as in the next few days, he will be marking his 2nd year in office.
Sure.
And that is the more reason why he prioritized security, you know, landing and then having first meeting today with all the service chiefs. And I presume what he will do is to give them the marching order regarding the state of affairs in those 2 boiling states, Plateau and Benue. The killings in those 2 states have gone for too much beyond what you can say is normal, and it is of essence that Mr. President take full charge of situation and then work his commanders in ensuring that they arrest the development. I want to believe that beyond that, he should also attempt addressing it politically, you know, because we are heading to another testy democratic cycle. You can assume that that is why you have the prevalence of this kind of violence, clashes, killings, generally trying to make the country vulnerable, trying to demarcate the administration, trying to make it look like it's incapable of bringing peace and fostering unity, you know, so that you and I, that will eventually go out there to vote, will pick someone else and then ditch him. But of course, he's an astute politician, he is a Democrat, he knows the game, he knows the language of the game, he knows also the nuances of that game. So I don't see him being an easy pushover in any political wrangling. But he needs to also look at this matter, like they will say, applying the kinetic and non-kinetic solutions. You know, there are things that the commander-in-chiefs will be able to address, you know, putting all things on the table and now plotting your graphs. But there are things you can also address at the back end, putting all the dots, connecting all the dots, and looking at who are likely going to be sponsoring these kind of things, even though they might not even be vulnerable and visible. There might be those who are just at the back end pushing these things out. You don't even know them, you don't even hear them. But the politicians there know who these people are. They know their grievances, they know why they are aggrieved, they know how to placate them. The president needs to understand this, needs to work on these things, and needs to ensure that he brings this to bear in his resolution modus, so that before May 29, this is rested. And then we will come out of the celebration mood after the second year anniversary to begin to see more practical things that the president has as we go into the full season of electioneering by the third or fourth cycle of 2025, because I believe that is when INEC will release the electioneering timetable for 2027, you know. So as we begin to get close to that election year, so many things that will be testing will be thrown up, especially by the opposition. The president must show capacity, he must show resilience, he must show determination, and he must be ready to give to Nigeria the kind of leadership that we want. He has told us and he assured us that he's capable of it. That is why he got there. And we should not pity him. We are not pitying him. We are just telling him that he should apply himself to the solutions that are available and take Nigeria out of this narrative of constant killings day by day. We can do without it, and let the healing begin by, say, maybe May 30, and then we begin to see the real healing happening before we go into the next cycle of polls by 2027.
Well, like you rightly said, we just, really do hope that, because many people will say, oh, the first year is too early for things to start materializing and all of that, and this is the second year, and we just really do hope that before the end of the year, the president, in person of Bola Tinubu, would have done tremendous things positively, to aid Nigeria and also ensure that citizens, live happily ever after. Thank you so much, Mr. Adeyinka, for joining me on the show this afternoon. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you very much, Yewande. It's a pleasure having being in the studio with you. And to all our viewers, we thank you for sharing your time with us. We look forward to seeing you next time we are here. Thank you very much, and bye.
Until we come your way again, have an amazing Tuesday. Bye-bye.